Hello and what's happening? This is another cool rock podcast and I'm your host, Steve Roth. If you're new here, this is a podcast where I'm talking about what I love to talk about the most, and that's rock and roll, hard rock, metal, rock, power pop, however you define it. We'll feature conversations with the people who create, perform, promote, produce rock and roll, and hopefully be doing that a lot more in the weeks ahead. This episode features a conversation with Marcus and Therese Damberg from the awesome Swedish hard rock band Teaser Sweet. More on them in a minute, but first, some rock and roll news. All right. Had I got this episode out a week ago, I would have led with the news of the inductees to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2025, and well, what the hell, I guess I will now. They are first-time nominees Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, and Bad Company, along with Cyndi Lauper, the hip-hop pioneers Outkast, the rock duo The White Stripes, and Soundgarden. To be eligible for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, artists must have released their first commercial recording at least 25 years before they're eligible for induction. Can you believe it? That now includes The White Stripes and Soundgarden. Amazing. The induction ceremony will take place in Los Angeles this fall. Nominees were voted on by more than 1,200 artists, historians, and music industry professionals. The selection criteria include, quote, an artist's impact on other musicians, the scope and longevity of their career and body of work, as well as their innovation and excellence in style and technique. So I long ago stopped paying a lot of attention to who the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees were each year. Probably the last time I really cared and watched the induction ceremony was 2016, when my all-time favorite band of all time, Cheap Trick, got the nod and got inducted. I also long ago stopped arguing over whether certain bands should be in or not, or what constitutes rock and roll, but I do try and look at this all a little bit holistically. If any of these artists get a bit more attention in their music, and more people hear it, buy it, stream it, well, hell, that's a win no matter who gets inducted. I mean, when was the last time Chubby Checker was in the news? He's 85 years old after all. Or when was the last time anyone younger than the 55 and up crowd listened to his music? Personally, I don't know if the creator of a dance fad in the early 60s who sold a few million records should be in the hall. I've always thought one barometer for Hall of Fame status is if the artist inspired and impacted other artists, like the description I just previously read mentions. And does Chubby fit that bill, really? I don't really think so. All that said, I am actually happy Chubby Checker is getting in as much as anyone else mentioned who are getting in this year, because he impacted me. My mom had all those Chubby Checker records, and those are my earliest memories of going crazy for any music and scratching up those records on my little turntable because I could not stop playing songs like The Twist, Let's Twist Again, and Limbo Rock. In other music news, if you follow hard rock at all, especially classic hard rock, and are over the age of, say, 40, you heard and probably saw that original Van Halen singer David Lee Roth returned to the stage after a 5-year absence. He played the M3 Rock Festival in Maryland, and by all accounts, looked and sounded really good. And if you are a fan of Dave and Van Halen, especially Dave, you know that's a pretty low bar, and he exceeded it. He's got a killer solo band, and new for him was 5 backup singers. And these guys, yes, all guys, filled out the sound with panache and soul, making up and filling up the vocal spaces and places that Dave simply can't reach any longer. Hasn't been able to reach those places and spaces in a real long time. He is about 70 years old right now. The set list was all Van Halen songs, no Dave solo tunes, which disappointed me. And a day or so later, Dave announced a 21-date U.S. tour. This was all the culmination of a lot of anticipation from the likes of Van Halen and Dave fans, of which I am a huge fan. And full disclosure, as new listeners might not know this, but I'm also the co-host, along with another DLR fan, Darren Palchowitz, of the podcast, The DLR Cast, the only podcast by and for fans of Diamond David Lee Roth. where for nearly 4 years and 100 plus episodes, we dissect the often wacky and weird world of Diamond Dave. We will have a lot to say about Dave's return to the stage and the upcoming tour dates in a future episode very soon. Finally, in other veteran rocker news, Aerosmith guitarist Joe Perry is hitting the road with a new version of his band, the Joe Perry Project. Joining Joe will be his Aerosmith bandmates Brad Whitford and Buck Johnson from Aerosmith. I just said that. Accompanied by the Black Crowes vocalist Chris Robinson and Stone Temple Pilots bassist Robert DeLeo and drummer Eric Kretz. They've only announced 8 U.S. dates in August so far, and I'm really hoping for more as I'm very curious to how this band will sound and what songs they will be playing. Out of everyone listed there, I'm probably a fan of Stone Temple Pilots the most, so having the STP rhythm section has really piqued my interest. Okay, let's get to this episode's interview. In addition to having one of the coolest band names ever, Teaser Sweet is an awesome rock band out of Sweden. They just released their 4th album, Night Stalker, and it's a damn fine mix of massive riffs over catchy hooks and melodies. It's got some 70s hard rock, 70s and 80s hard rock vibes. They're inspired by the likes of Judas Priest, Kiss, the Scorpions, but the overall sound is not retro, and for me, I just hear really aggressive yet memorable rock and roll. I really dig this new album, Night Stalker, and I checked out their prior albums, and it's really cool to hear this band's musical evolution. I had a great time talking about all of this with the brother and sister duo in the band, vocalist Therese and guitarist Marcus. I first want to start with, I got to say, Teaser Sweet is positively so cool and a perfect name for a hard rock band. And I got to believe, when I first heard it, it was one of these ones where I just thought, this is a perfect mix. Other bands have to have been jealous of this name and thought, how come we didn't think of this before? And how did you come up with the name Teaser Sweet?
Well, we had a few options, and I guess we wanted something teasy and sweet. So I think it was probably it just came. When we thought about the band and how we looked and how we sounded and everything, so and in the beginning we weren't playing this hard. Maybe we the band the music has gone from rock and roll to more old school heavy metal, maybe, but. Yeah, we stick with the name. We like it.
Right on. Well, it's certainly memorable, and I think for most folks, when they hear the name, they instantly think this has got to be a rock. This has got to be a band that plays killer guitars and just totally rocks, which you guys do. Yeah. I definitely want to get into the new album, which I love, but I also wanted to just chat a bit how you guys formed. You guys formed in 2013, and Tess, this is your first band?
Yeah, it's my first band with my big brother, Marcus. And yeah, before becoming a member of Teaser Sweet, I was just singing. I went on this music school here in Sweden on my free time. So it wasn't in the like the main school. It was on my free time that I sang a lot, and I also had a small little group where we played and I sang. But this is my first and only true band. So, and the story goes like Marcus, he had a band, but then they split up. So he was all alone and didn't have anyone to play with. But you had a drummer, right?
Yeah, from the band we had, me and the drummer, we wanted to continue to play, and we wanted to have some members that we could trust.
That's important.
It's always hard to keep a band together. You know, people do that and they do this, and well, she's my sister, and
very much reliable.
Yeah, I was just going to say we know she'll show up to rehearsals, and I can count on her and trust her.
And if I don't, he knows where I live. So
yeah, exactly.
and we know from history that with a lot of rock bands, lead singers can, there can be drama there. So if you can avoid that, all the better. So now we've got the new album, Night Stalker, your fourth album. It's your first in 5 years since the Monster album, which came out in 2020. I've read in different places that both of you had, very busy lives outside of writing and recording and making music. But when did you first start writing songs for the new album, and how did the process work to the point you were able to ready to go into the studio?
I guess we always write new songs. It's not that we say, oh, now it's time to go and make a new album, and we sit down and make a lot of songs. It's not like that. It's more like we can be at rehearsal, and I got an idea, So we play it, and if it's good, we build a new song on it, and then we put it aside. So we have been making songs like over 5 years, I think, to this album, and some of the songs, like title track Night Stalker, was the last song that we did for the album, and that was something we did not so long ago.
I should tell you too, I discovered you guys. So you're in Sweden, I'm here in the US, and it's amazing how global music is now, especially you don't necessarily have to rely on the radio or rely for months waiting for a magazine to show up and go, I think I'd like to check them out. And it was very kind of, the timing was perfect, because those Spotify algorithms, they know what I like, and they served me up. They served me up a song, and I had to check it out. And then within a day or two, I got some info from your record label about the new album, and I thought I would love to talk to these guys, particularly because so much of your sound. I mean, I could tell it's rooted in. I would bet our record collections have a lot of similarities. So a lot of 70s and 80s hard rock. I know, Marcus, you're a big Kiss fan. So am I. Yeah. I mean, I can hear a lot of the different influences from the 70s and 80s, and a lot of hard rock bands today will say they have similar influences. But for me, what really stands out with you guys, in addition to these massive riffs, which are I absolutely just love. I mean, I can tell you on a side note, these are great songs to work out to. I put this on my playlist, and I'm like, I can feel like I can go crush. But you have a lot of melody and emotion in your songs. And when I went back and discovered the Monster record in particular, I heard that in so much of those in Monster, but I particularly hear it more pronounced in the new record. So was that kind of when you were writing and recording, was that kind of a goal to kind of, your evolution became more melodic, a bit more soulful and emotional, actually? I certainly hear that in the vocals. Apologies for the long-winded question.
It's so nice to hear you talk, Steve, and thank you for all the kind words. And I love that you can work out to Night Stalker. We had this interview like 2 weeks ago, and there was this guy, I think from Australia, and he told me this is the perfect record for just going out and walking on the streets, and to put on in your car while driving. Yeah. So we love to hear those stories. But regarding the songwriting and the melodies on Night Stalker, we are very open about how we wanting to sound. We're not really set on how we want to sound, but I think that this time making Night Stalker and all the songs, we definitely took our time to work on each and every song, and I think that creates emotion and that feeling in every song. We didn't rush anything, and we did everything so it could be 100% Teaser Sweet and songs. We don't want any fillers, right, Marcus?
No, that's why it's not a 12-track album, because and I find that very hard to I don't understand why bands do they even like the songs themselves. Some of the fillers, I mean, and we, of course, we have made lots of more songs in the process of making songs for the album, but the songs that we feel that this one is not so good, so we throw them away. I don't feel I can't see the reason why we would record them and put them on an album.
It sounds like you definitely strive for quality versus quantity, which should be a simple thing for bands to do. But as we know, and you just mentioned, I mean, there's some of our favorite records, I'm sure, albums and albums that we really get into. There could be 2 or 3 songs you just skip over. It's like, how did that make the album? Or that should have been left on in the studio, perhaps.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that about my favorite bands, but I would rather have a solid 9 or 10 songs that I am just going to that are going to stick in my head and be so memorable versus having to cut through some things that just didn't seem to make sense to my ears.
Yeah, I agree.
I got to mention, in addition to the great melodies and the crushing guitar, your rhythm section really swings. Those two just lock in, and there's so many songs where I just hear these different fills, and it's just, you got a drummer there and a bass player. I mean, they're the engine room, it seems. I mean, those guys, it sounds like there's a lot of intensity there, but they know when to lay back a bit. But at the same time, this is great music to drive to because of those guys. Yeah, like you mentioned.
Or just going for a walk. It's the perfect tempo.
Right.
Yeah.
Every member of the band has a important part. The drummer, the bass player, me as a guitar player, Tess as the singer. If we have like keyboards and you might have 2 guitar players. That would make something maybe bigger, that it sounds bigger. But as we are only guitar, bass, and drums, so we have to really, really work on every second on the album.
Right. So I want to tell you some of my favorite songs on the record. We won't go track by track. We'll be here 2 hours, and it's late there in Sweden, so But I want to tell you some of my favorite songs in the album. Just if you can give me some thoughts on just the songs, writing, recording, the lyrics. We'll start with Night Stalker, because that one just jumps out at you immediately.
Yeah, that's a pretty classic. As I said before, it was the last song that we did for the album. And it's just a classic heavy metal song, inspired by Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Accept.
I can hear that, sure.
Yeah. So, and the lyrics, just something that sounds cool.
Right.
Night Stalker.
Yeah. Yeah, the title alone gets the point across, right?
Yeah.
Deep in the Woods, love that song. The first video from the record, the video looked like it was a lot of fun to shoot. And I guess that's maybe one of the songs that people are checking out the most with the video, of course.
Yeah, that was the first single that we dropped for the album, and as you said, the video was very fun to make. But here in Sweden at the time, it was very cold. So we were freezing, but it was so fun. And it was Marcus' idea with a whole old horror movie theme, and also a killer in the woods. So
yeah, there was definitely a horror movie vibe to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then had to ask you, because the song that jumped out at me first that I absolutely went back to playing more than the other songs on the record, and now I'm catching up with the other songs, but the song that really jumped out at me first and foremost was Living in Sin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I love the lyrics. I mean, what was the impetus for that?
The song is about love gone messy, and we do like preferences to playing a game. So you have to play the game right, or else you lose. So it's about playing a game. But yeah, like I said, you have to do it right. So it's about the relationship.
And also that song is, I feel that it's the most Kiss influenced song maybe on the album.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now that I give it a thought, that didn't hit me right at first, but I could hear Paul Stanley's voice there.
Yeah.
That's that real emotion, and certainly the lyrics. You hear the lyrics, and I figured it was about relationships. You can hear, it's I definitely got that vibe. But yeah, I can now. I'm gonna, when I go back and listen to it after this, I'll have that in mind a bit. But that one really jumped out at me. I don't know if you're planning a second single or another video, but that would be my vote.
Oh, thank you.
So as far as next steps for you guys, I know I'm sure concerts will be a part of it, hoping to tour. I think you guys have a big show this weekend in Sweden. Is it tomorrow night? Saturday night?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, as far as I was just going back and I was looking through your Facebook page preparing for this. I know you played a lot in Sweden. There's a really good metal scene there as far as a lot of different festivals, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's very hard. It's very hard to get it's very hard to get a spot on those festivals, but we're really hoping to the summer is almost here, and a lot of the festivals already booked all the bands, and but we hope that maybe next year we get a spot on a few festivals.
And then hopefully maybe getting touring, doing shows beyond Sweden as well.
Yeah, of course.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, as far as the Swedish rock scene, I mean, how connected is everybody? I mean, do bands help each other out? Do you guys, I mean, obviously it's competitive, but at the same time, is there maybe sort of a network where there's other bands or other band managers where you can say, hey, let's plan a date and say June or July at this place, or as part of, to maybe create these shows on your own or with different bands?
Yeah, it's been done a few times with bands that are communicating with each other, and we try to invite bands if we have like a release party or something. We like to invite bands to come and play, and bands that are not major bands, but bands like ourselves. We always try to help out and arrange gigs and stuff for each other. So
right, yeah. I mean, nowadays I think it's as much about networking and just trying to, everybody can be an ally, right? I mean, if anybody, if whoever hears your band, if they're in other bands and they can turn on two people and they turn on two people, it takes a while, but that's really how I think you need to do things nowadays.
Yeah.
We agree.
So you mentioned that you guys are writing all the time. I mean, obviously this record just came out, but when there's songs that might be popping tomorrow, next week, 2 months from now, I mean, you guys are always creative. Do you hold those aside, or do you think put it aside and say, well, let's maybe work on this for the next album, or do we want to put something out separately? I mean, or is it just we've got the music, we hold on to it for now?
Yeah, I think we at the time we just need to see where everything goes with the Night Stalker.
Right.
So
right.
we're just in this newlyweds phase, you know. It's just released.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
1 week ago today.
Yeah.
So we are happy to see and very excited about what will happen now. So if we come up with a really, really great song, I think we have to lay it aside for a moment.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm always curious about that because it's not like you can turn the creative valve off, right? I mean, it's I'm assuming hopefully it's, if you get a riff in your head and you get some lyric ideas, I mean, you got to capture that moment. And I would imagine it's there, you're writing a lot of songs and or pretty regularly. It's not like you can just stop, right?
No. Well, we did put out some singles like two times, but I think to save the songs for a new album is much better. That's my opinion on it.
Right. So with Night Stalker, how long were you guys in the studio for? How long did it take to actually record it? And the second part of that question is, I mean, the record just comes right out of you at your speakers. It doesn't sound like to me, you spent hours and hours and hours overdubbing and laying down tracks. I mean, if it was a hot take, you took it and you got it.
We were in the studio for 3 days.
What? Wow. You guys do work fast. That's amazing.
The first day we recorded every song live.
Oh, wow.
And then we started to work on some overdubs with the vocals and the guitars. And of course, the mixing process was a longer thing, but as recording, we were in the studio for only 3 days.
Wow! So I take it you guys went in, you knew these songs backward and forward. They were so rehearsed, ready to go. Hit record, and in 3 days, you got it.
Yeah.
That's super impressive because I'm sure I know there are a lot of bands that don't go into the studio that fully prepared.
No, that's true. We heard that from people who work in the studio. They don't know how their songs will end when they start to recording. So if you're not prepared, it's gonna take weeks to make an album.
And you're probably relying on your producer a lot too to kind of, I guess, fill things out a bit, right? Maybe flesh out that vision. And then, I mean, I'm sure we've seen this with our favorite bands, and, we brought up Kiss before. I know, Kiss has mentioned this before, where they got in and a producer diluted the sound or did something they didn't want or did something differently. But you guys had a vision. You were 100% prepared, went in and got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of bands can't say they can do the same thing every time.
No.
Right on. So, well, awesome, guys. I really appreciate the time. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add about the record. Apologies if I missed anything. I absolutely love the album. I mean, I'm not just saying that because you're here and you're doing this interview. I love discovering new music, and you guys have been in my own heavy rotation for about the last 2 weeks now. So, and then to go back, and it's always fun when you discover a band, because for me, I love to hear how a band sound evolves and changes. And so it was a great surprise to find out that while Teaser Sweet was new to me, there's 3 other albums I could also dive into too. So, I mean, I've had a lot of fun listening to all your music, and I'm real excited to see where you go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. we're really appreciating talking with you too. And I know exactly what you're talking about, the new excitement when you're hearing a new band. It's amazing. So I know what you're going through, and I'm so happy that it's Tis is Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Teaser Sweet. You gotta love the miracle of algorithms and digital technology. I would never have had discovered them if it wasn't for Spotify. And they are available there and at all your favorite streaming platforms. And you can follow them at YouTube as well as social media. I really dig their energy, the riffs. As I mentioned in there, their music is great to work out to. Got it on my Steve's Workout playlist and have really been enjoying cranking them up. So, and I've been really enjoying doing this podcast, as always. Thank you for listening, downloading, streaming, discovering us, telling your friends and family. And also, as always, be good to yourself and be good to other people. Take care.